Welcome to Intelfluence, an influencer marketing service that you can actually afford. I'm going to take you through the process of setting up an arts and crafts influencer marketing campaign targeting Pinterest. We'll go through the process from start to finish, and afterwards we'll take a few minutes and we'll analyze the campaign. This will show you just how easy it is to use Intelfluence to get reviewed, build awareness, and increase your sales. For the purpose of today's presentation, I'm the representative of the Watercolor Love brand, and I'm going to market our new watercolor palette. Once you've joined and you've logged into your dashboard, you can click Create New Campaign. First, give your campaign a name so you can easily reference it. Next, you're going to want to choose the type of compensation you want to offer influencers. It can be free product, cash, or both, and you'll notice that the fields change ever so slightly based on the selection that I choose. For today's presentation, we're going to go with both. Next, you'll enter the free product or service that you're looking to offer right here, as well as the retail value of the product. And then if you're offering cash, the cash amount on top of the product that you're going to give influencers. Next, you can select how many influencers you want to work with in this campaign. And this is just a starting point. You can update this number at any time by editing the campaign. And then you might notice this message up here saying that you do not have sufficient funds to pay the number of influencers that you chose, however much money you're offering them. And there's an explanation right there. For now, we don't have to worry about that. That's just for when you're going to pitch, and we'll come to that later when it comes time to fund the campaign. So you can just ignore that. And then next is the required work section, and it's really important, so I want to take a minute to highlight it. You want to make sure that you include all of the required work associated with your campaign. Now, if there's ever an issue with the transaction, it's typically because there's miscommunication here in the required work section. So I'm going to add all of the information that the influencer needs right here. I'm going to explain what's going to happen upon acceptance to the campaign, what I'm looking for in terms of a pin being created on their Pinterest account, where to order the product. I'll let them know that I'm going to provide a coupon code where they can order the product for free, what to do once they receive it. I want my brand tagged and a certain hashtag used, so put that there. And then coupon code I want them to include. And then I also include payment information, just so influencers know once a transaction's been marked as completed, I provide a little bit of an explanation of how they're going to get paid, so I don't get questions on that. They can reference this information right here, the Intelfluence payments, and that's the link to the Intelfluence payments information. You can also ask for a mailing address or an email address. The mailing address if you're going to ship a product. Since the influencer is ordering the product from my website, I don't need to worry about those. I'm just going to skip those. And then we get to the campaign image. And it's really important that you upload a campaign image. This will make your campaign stand out in the marketplace. And so it's really important that you add a campaign image there. So I'm going to do that. Upload it and set the crop. And then next, select a start and an end date for your campaign. I'm going to make it good for about a month here, a little less, but you can update the start and end date at any time in your campaign screen, in the campaign edit screen. And then also you can set a custom due date on a per pitch basis as well. You have those options there. And then you come down to these options. You can syndicate your offer to public partners. So this goes out to our third-party partners. And then display in the internal marketplace. This makes your offer open to all of our influencers that qualify based on their reach and the category settings that you set. So if those two boxes are checked, you're going to get the most visibility. So that's a good idea to do that. If your campaign is for an adults only product, you can select there, and it will only be visible to influencers over the age of 21 that have specified that they're comfortable with that. And then next, you select your categories here. You can select up to 5 categories. I'm going to choose those categories, and then you can select your countries here that you want to target. If you select the United States, you can drill down on a state and zip code level. You can set a radius based on the zip code, but just select which country or countries you want to target. And then the social platform, you can choose from the list here. Today we're going with Pinterest in this webinar. And then select a minimum audience size. So this will be the minimum total reach that you're willing to work with. Now, obviously, the larger the audience size, typically the more product or cash compensation you're going to have to offer for it to be a desirable offer. But just set a baseline there for a minimum audience size to begin. And then this is where you can enter the URL for the product or service you want promoted. And then for the suggested post message, I'm not going to put one since it's a pin. It's less relevant there, but if it was going to be like an Instagram post or a Facebook kind of long form post, you can offer a prompt there for a suggested post message. And then as well as the posting do's and posting don'ts, you can offer like your brand styling guide information there, and then you can add anything that you do not want included in the post, those instructions there. So it's better to offer more details than less, just to make sure that the influencer is on the same page as you. So once you have all of this filled out, your categories are correct, you've selected the right countries to target, the platforms there, you have your syndication options checked, and then you have a campaign image. Don't forget that campaign image. And then you have all the required work and all this details correct. You can go ahead and click save. Once you've saved your campaign, you're automatically redirected to our Discover tool. The Discover tool will enable you to effortlessly search our entire network of influencers and apply advanced filters to display the absolute best candidates. You'll notice this message letting you know that your campaign is live, and here's what to do next. It's time to find the best arts and crafts influencers on Pinterest. In order to make things easy for you, we apply filters based on the information you enter when setting up a campaign, and you can see them right here. This ensures that you will only see good candidates from the very beginning. So we are set to market to influencers that will accept this product value. They'll accept this in cash. They are in experts in these categories. They're based in the United States. They're on Pinterest. And as you remember, I set that audience size as small. If you're looking through here and you're not seeing good candidates from the very beginning, you can remove any of these filters just by clicking here. Clicking the X, and you'll notice that the number will hopefully get larger. We're going to click on advanced filters here. First, if you wanted to get rid of all the filters, you can click right there. And then you can sort by audience size there. It will go from ascending to descending based on what you want. So we're going to click on advanced filters here. And then when you have multiple campaigns going, you can click this drop down and you can select previous campaigns if you want to apply filters for those campaigns when you're in the Discover tool, if you are starting from scratch. So you can refine by influencer here. You can search, you can filter by gender. You can switch up the countries here. Like I said earlier, if you select the United States, you can choose state, zip code, and then a search radius. You can add or remove specialties. If you were looking for reviews in a like Apple or Android marketplace or store, you can select filter by type there, work history, whether you've worked with them in the past or not, and then you can change up that that total reach for influencers, and then also filter by their last login date, and then you can filter by influencers that will accept adults only products or that registered in the last 30 days. You can change up your budget here. If you're not seeing a lot of candidates, we call it relaxing filters, but in this case, you might offer more product or more cash to appeal to influencers that require more compensation for their work. And then you can refine by a social platform here. So for instance, you can see the ranges here for all the different platforms. For here, we can say, hey, I want you to have at least 200 followers, and I probably can't afford someone who has tons. So you can set a range there for influencers. And then lastly, right down here, if you were looking for bloggers with their own blogs, you can filter by their website metrics. Now, if you hover over each metric here, it will give you an explanation of the criteria for that metric there. Like I said, if you're not getting the results you're looking for, play around with relaxing the filters, offering more product or cash, or opening it up to maybe more platforms, changing up the audience size, adding or removing specialties, changing that up there, and so forth. Now, each influencer card is going to display their bio as well as the minimum product value and minimum cash value they will accept. You can see that right there. The influencers set this on their own, so it varies by influencer. You can check out their areas of expertise, and then you can check out their platforms here. You can click view all to view any of their social platforms. You can also click here to view their expanded profile with bio, and then any badges that they've earned. If they have a blog, you can look at all their blog metrics right here. And then, check out their social profiles to get a better idea of the type of content they post as well as their engagement. Now, once you find an influencer you would like to pitch, just click right here and then click Add to Campaign. And then just select the campaign that you want to add them to. And then if they are asking for more money, or there's something that doesn't line up with the filters that you've put in place, you might get this notice letting you know that they do not match the default criteria for your campaign. So you can still add them to your campaign, but just take in the following into consideration. Just for my demo account, that the influencer doesn't have a Pinterest setup, so just make sure that lines up there. But like I said, you can still add them to your campaign and you can still pitch them. So we're going to click add, and then you're going to get a success message letting you know that the influencer has been added to your campaign, and you can click on the link to go to the campaign, and you are almost ready to pitch. At this point, you're almost ready to pitch. As I mentioned earlier, you'll need to add funds to your account before you send pitches if you're running a cash campaign. In order to fund your campaign, you just need to click the Add Funds button, which is displayed at the top of almost every screen within the system. Now, you can easily add funds using the payment card you have on file that is tied to your subscription. Otherwise, you can click Add a Card if you'd like to add another payment card. If you're ready to add funds, simply enter the amount and click Add Funds. Once you've updated your funds, you'll see an updated account balance here, and you can also view an expanded account balance here that includes all of your IntelliFluence payments and subscription history. You can also view and update your payment methods right here. Now that you have created your campaign, use the Discover tool with advanced filters to find the best influencers, and you've added those influencers to your campaign, and you have funded your campaign if you're offering a cash incentive, now's the time to pitch the influencer. You can pitch influencers individually, or you can select multiple influencers to pitch using our bulk pitch tool right here. You can also remove them from your campaign in this instant from using the bulk tool. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to send a pitch to this influencer, so I'm going to click Send Pitch. You'll notice the pitch is populated with your most recent campaign details. Since I'm offering cash, you'll notice the cash amount displayed here that includes the Intellifluence Payments transaction fee. And then this total represents the total cost to send the pitch. If everything looks right, you can go ahead and click Send Pitch. You can also make any changes you want to this specific pitch before sending. If you want all pitches to reflect these changes, you need to edit the actual campaign. So you would back out, and then you would be at your main campaign screen here, and you would click the Edit button, and then you can edit any single component of the campaign right here. And then once you save that, all changes will be reflected in your subsequent pitches. All right, everything looks good, so I'm going to pitch this influencer. I'm going to click Send Pitch and send the pitch. Once you have pitched the influencer, you'll notice the status update there where you are waiting for a response. This kicks off the transaction flow. At this point, the influencer is going to review your pitch and either accept it, decline, or request changes via the messaging system. You can click Messages at any time to access our messaging system, which saves you from having to deal with email because email is cumbersome. Any correspondence with influencers will be stored here, as well as in each transaction within each campaign. So there's multiple ways to read your messages. When you arrive at the dashboard, they'll appear at a glance right here, or like I said, you can click the Messages tab to read all the messages from influencers throughout all your campaigns, and then you can actually just go right to the campaign there and click on the message box right here. If the influencer responds and lets you know that they are looking for different terms, you might need to negotiate by sending a revised pitch, which you can do right here if you still want to work with them. Now back to the campaign. Once the influencer has accepted the pitch, you'll receive an email notification as well as a notification displayed within your dashboard. You'll see a new message notification there, or you can go to the campaign and you'll see the transaction flow update right here. So now I'm ready to send the influencer the product and update this transaction flow, which will notify the influencer that the product is en route. So you can do this here, or you can also do this directly from the message screen as well. This opens your message thread here for the transaction, and you're going to click the Mark Product as Sent button right here. And then you can provide the necessary details such as tracking numbers or estimated delivery times so the influencer knows when to expect delivery. If the influencer needs to purchase the product from your website or a retailer, you can provide the instructions at this time. You can also provide any details such as a referral code if you want them to include it in their post. So now I'm going to mark this as sent, and you'll see within the transaction flow that it's been updated, the product has been sent, and now we just await the response. And we're back. We're in our dashboard, and you can see here in our latest message thread that the influencer has received the product. So we can go directly to that message thread, and we see that there. And you can provide a response, thanking the influencer for letting you know. Look forward to reading the review. I find that it's always best to communicate constantly, just to keep things rolling along, and so both parties are involved. So now that they've received the product, they've notified us that they'll post a review. We just have to wait a little bit. And we're back once again. So let's go to the message section, and we see that the influencer has posted. So we'll go to the message thread here, and the influencer has included the post link. And so let's take a look at the URL to review. All right, here's the pin, and upon reviewing, I see that the influencer's done exactly what I asked for. The pin looks good, the link's correct, and so now I can go back into the message thread and mark this transaction as completed. Now, if there was ever an issue with the work that the influencer submitted, you can explain here in the message thread what changes need to be made, rather than marking this as complete. Since everything looks good in this instance, I'm going to mark this as complete. Now you can include a thank you or an invitation to work again in the future. You can let them know that you'll update them on future campaigns if you want to work with them again, whatever you deem necessary. So we're going to mark as complete. And now you have the opportunity to rate the influencer's performance, and this will help us enhance the community even further. Now, in a perfect world, we could end the webinar right now because everything went exactly as planned. But the reality is, sometimes things go awry. If you've done your best to provide clear instructions throughout the transaction, but there's an issue with the transaction and you try to resolve it directly with the influencer to no avail, you do have the option to flag the transaction for further review. Now, before you do this, like I said, really try and work it out with the influencer. Effective communication will go a long way. But if you're just not getting to the bottom of it, you can click the flag this transaction button up here. And you'll notice this message. Please only flag a transaction for review after you've tried to resolve the issue on your own. Appropriate reasons for flagging a transaction include requesting help to get any party to comply with the terms of your agreement, bringing to our attention any party that has acted in a non-professional manner, or bringing to our attention any content that doesn't comply with Intellifluence policies. If you notice anything illegal, if there's serious issues with the content. If you're experiencing anything like that, let us know about it by flagging the transaction. Also, if you've sent a pitch to an influencer but they don't want to move forward and they haven't declined it, or you've changed your mind before any of the transaction steps past pitching have been completed, you have the option to archive the transaction, and that icon would show up right there if that was an applicable transaction you could archive. Now that we have completed a transaction from start to finish, it's time to analyze the campaign. If you haven't achieved the results you're looking for, there's several steps you can take to encourage greater success. First, you might want to adjust the advanced filters when searching for an influencer using the Discover tool. Like I mentioned earlier, you might need to relax these filters a little bit. You might need to expand the categories and relax the audience requirements of influencers in terms of their social platforms or blog visitors. For your campaign, you may want to edit it and offer more product or cash value to encourage more pitch acceptances and marketplace applications. You may need to be more explicit in the required work section of the campaign if the influencer's work is consistently not meeting your expectations. It's really easy to edit your campaign and adjust the advanced filters within the Discover tool. We created a video called How to Analyze a Campaign on our YouTube channel that you can check out for more advice on analyzing your campaign. Within any screen in our system, you can either take a tour and get an explanation of how things work. Otherwise, you can click on the FAQ link to go to our knowledge base where you can search help articles by topic. If your question isn't answered or you need some more help, you can submit a request directly to one of our friendly customer service staff members such as myself. I hope this webinar has helped you out, and we look forward to helping you reach your influencer marketing goals.